In the winter, we can drive an Uber. 60 cents per mile is the fare. We can go on strike or stage a protest. But in reality, no one fucking cares. What up, folks? Once again, it's your boy Tim with another ride-sharing video. The state of New York, better yet, New York City itself, one of the largest ride-sharing hubs in the entire world, is in the spotlight today as the mayor just recently announced a change to virtually every single ride-sharing vehicle in his city. I want you to check this out because this is likely coming to an urban area near you. Let me know what you think.
That's why we are committed to reducing building emissions to create a healthier and more sustainable city. We are also electrifying our city vehicle fleet. We're going to go even further, requiring for-hire vehicles to do the same. We are announcing today that Uber and Lyft will be required to have a zero-emission fleet by 2030. That's zero emission for over 100,000 vehicles in our streets. But the best way to do it is listen to my good friend Jano. Take the subways, MetroCard your way through the city. We're pleased that both companies are embracing this shift, and we look forward to working with them to get it done.
You know, I'm watching the mayor of New York on stage in front of those people. You know what he reminds me of? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? And all of a sudden the people go bananas and shit like that. The mayor of New York City on stage sounding like Cyrus. Quick trivia for my grown folks, my adult drivers, veteran drivers over 40. What movie was that? State it in the comments. Some of y'all ain't ready for that. That's grown folks entertainment right there. Listen to what that guy said. And by the way, who the hell was that Asian guy that they tuned in for several seconds of that announcement? I don't know who the hell he was, but I would sure like to look it up. Anybody who knows who that gentleman is, feel free to state it in the comments. So all of the vehicles are being mandated to have electronic transmissions, motoring systems, and things like that. So they're phasing out your traditional fossil fuel vehicles. Now, obviously, this undertaking is going to cost a hell of a lot of money. E-vehicles, electronic vehicles, or electric vehicles are by far still very new technology. Those things are not cheap. How does Uber and Lyft feel about the city of New York forcing them to switch over their entire fleet to electric vehicles? Well, let me give you a couple of the actual quotes. Here is the director of Lyft. We're eager to collaborate with the Taxi and Limousine Commission on an ambitious plan for a rideshare clean mile standard. So Lyft does not have a problem with this. How about Uber? Well, their spokesperson stated this: we applaud the mayor's ambition for reducing emissions, an important goal we share. Uber has been making real progress to become the first zero emissions mobility platform in North America, and there's much more to do. So it sounds as though both ride-sharing platforms, Uber and Lyft, are quite pleased with what the mayor is trying to do, and they're certainly in line to follow his recommendations, his mandate. Why would Uber and Lyft be so happy, so willing to go along with a mandate that's obviously going to cost millions of dollars to upgrade the fleet? The obvious answer should be smack dab in your face. They don't have to pay shit for this. Not one damn dime. The entire fleet is owned by us, the drivers. It's owned by you as an Uber or Lyft driver. So flipping from fossil fuel vehicles, traditional gasoline-powered vehicles, to electric vehicles for Uber and Lyft doesn't cost a cent. They're just going to tweet out some shit. They're going to send out some shit over the app that tells you the car you're riding in is useless now. If you want to continue driving for us, your ass better go out and spend $60,000 and get an electric vehicle. Otherwise, you are off the platform. Is this a bad thing? Well, on its face, the answer should be hell yeah. However, this is New York City. This is one of the largest ride-hailing platforms in the entire nation. So there are plenty of trips in New York for rideshare drivers. There's plenty of surge. There's plenty of offers, promos, and things like that always ongoing in New York. And veteran drivers out there, those who are familiar with the New York, New Jersey area, feel free to update your boy in the comment section, because I am pleading a little bit of ignorance here. I've never driven in the New York, New Jersey market. So for you folks who are familiar with the market, let me know what it is like in your market. What is the per mile rate? I believe the per mile rate in New York is a little bit higher than it is across the country. As I said in the opening song there, 60 cents a mile, that shit is real. That rate is real for a hell of a lot of drivers throughout the country. However, in New York City, I believe it's somewhere hovering around $1 per mile, maybe even a little bit more. No denying the cost of living, that shit still does not go far. But as you see, both Uber and Lyft are giving positive lip service to a mandate, a city ordinance coming from the mayor mandating they flip their entire fleet. They sound like they're on board for what I just stated. They don't have to really, they're not paying any of the damn money, so they don't give a shit about flipping over. If your ass is willing to go out and trade in your car and purchase another vehicle at $60,000 a pop or whatever the hell they're going for, and still continue driving for bullshit rates, there's no spread off of Uber or Lyft's back. So keep that in mind. This could be positive, so I'm not going to automatically assume it's a bad thing, but make no mistake about it, there is a history of disgruntled drivers operating on both the Uber and Lyft platform that did upgrade vehicles, purchase specific vehicles for certain assignments, only to have Uber and Lyft, particularly Uber, quickly reduce fares. So if you go out and buy, let's say you do your calculations, and it is determined by driving in New York, you could still make a nice profit purchasing a vehicle for $60,000 a pop. Let's say your numbers suggest that you could still make a profit with the payments you'd pay on that vehicle. Well, right now, there's nothing stopping Uber or Lyft from reducing how much you earn per mile, so that the next day you wake up, your numbers no longer make sense. Now, shout out to this mayor in the city of New York. It's one of those cities that has what they refer to as TLC, Taxi and Limousine Commission. So the government of the city of New York is all up in Lyft, Uber, and the taxi cabs' ass. They don't just let them do whatever the hell they want. We know in many markets around the country, Uber and Lyft are allowed to do whatever the hell they want. That is why rates have been all over the damn place throughout your tenure as a driver. I say it in every video. I've been driving off and on since 2014, in between jobs and things like that. And when I started, the rate in my market was $2.20, and now it is 72 cents. A huge drop in rates like that would never make it by any viable taxi and limousine commission in any city hall. Any type of city council would not allow that to happen. You need an entity in place to protect drivers, protect fares, protect rates, address safety concerns and things like that. In the city of New York, it sounds like they have something like that. So shout out to any city government that wants to get involved in legislating, regulating, and looking over the antics of rideshare companies. I know a lot of my viewers do not like big government and do not like, legislation having their hands in small business and things like that. But for the most part of Uber and Lyft's history, most of their existence, they've been operating without any legislation or oversight from government. That's why it's so fucked up. It's because they're allowed to do whatever the hell they want, and what they ultimately do is not in your best interest as a driver. If there is a business out there that is begging for regulation, begging for oversight, begging for the interference of big government, you're in it right now, because this industry is a prime example of what a company would do to its employees, or in our case, as its independent contractors. This is a good example of what a company would do if there was no government oversight. Everything they do, for the most part, is against driver success, against drivers' earnings, against drivers' safety, etc., etc. So we need some form of a taxi or a limousine commission or whatever the hell they want to call that department. We need some form of that in every single market that Uber and Lyft exist in. But I wanted to just bring this by you because I want to ask you folks, if your market suddenly require an electric vehicle, and let's say you could get one used, let's say you could get an electric vehicle used for $25,000 to $30,000. I want to ask you folks that are out there driving right now, would you make that switch? Do you earn enough in ride sharing to go out and purchase a $25,000 to $30,000 vehicle to maintain your earnings, maintain your sense of employment? And I'm asking that question because $25,000 for a electric vehicle in 2030, when they're suggesting this will be implemented, probably would not be that far off. I mean, even right now, how long has electric vehicles been on the road? Maybe 5 years or so. They haven't been around that long. So if you wanted to go out and get an electric vehicle right now that is dependable to take ride-sharing vehicles, you're probably going to pay $25,000 to $30,000 for it, or more. But I want to ask you folks, 25 to 30 grand. Do you earn enough in ride-sharing that you believe that that would be a worthy decision to make to maintain your source of employment? Anyhow, I always appreciate you folks tuning in. As you see, we're enjoying a winter wonderland, hence the opening song. And as always, subscribe to the damn channel. I'll catch you in the next video.